Sometimes a camera sees everything. It captures the mundane moments of our lives, the comings and goings, the quiet transactions. But what happens when that silent observer records something else, something terrible, something that defies easy explanation? In a small, unassuming corner of the world, a security camera did just that. It recorded a final, horrifying moment, a moment that would replay itself over and over, not just on a screen, but in the minds of everyone who saw it. A moment that would turn a simple recording into a piece of evidence in a crime that, to this day, has no answers. The footage is not clear. It is grainy, washed out by the harsh, artificial light of a late-night establishment. The kind of place you've seen 1,000 times, a place that should be safe. The figures in the video are like ghosts, the features blurred by the low resolution of the camera, yet their actions are anything but indistinct. There's a victim, and there is an attacker. The camera watches dispassionately as a life is taken. It's a silent movie of the worst kind. A chilling ballet of violence that plays out in just a few heart-stopping seconds, leaving behind a legacy of fear and a puzzle that no one has been able to solve. We watch it and we feel a chill. We are compelled to look closer, to try and pierce the veil of pixels and shadows. We want to see a face, a clue, something that the investigators might have missed. The video promises a truth. It shows us a killer right there in plain sight, but the promise is a cruel one. The more you watch, the more the image seems to taunt you. The figure remains a phantom and an anonymous agent of chaos who appeared from the darkness, committed an unspeakable act, and then vanished back into it, leaving only this ghostly image as their calling card. This recording is the beginning and in many ways the end of the story. It is the central piece of a puzzle with most of its parts missing. It holds the key, everyone believes that, but the lock is complex and the key itself seems to be broken. Investigators have pored over every frame, every shadow, every flicker of light. They have shown it to experts, to the public, to anyone who might see something, anything, but the grainy ghost on the screen keeps its secrets. It offers no name, no motive, no reason. It just shows what happened, a silent testament to a crime caught on camera, but a killer who walked away free. Before the footage, this was just a town like any other, a place where people knew their neighbors, where the rhythm of life was predictable, comfortable. Children played in the parks, local businesses hummed along. It was a community that felt insulated from the kind of random brutal violence you see on the national news. The illusion of safety was a warm blanket, a shared belief that bad things didn't happen here. That illusion was about to be shattered in the most public and terrifying way imaginable. The night of the incident started like any other. The streets were quiet. The usual late-night spots were winding down. No one felt a sense of impending doom. It was just another Tuesday. It was just another Wednesday. It was just another Saturday. In the midst of that ordinary quiet, something extraordinary and horrific occurred. A life was violently extinguished, and the peace of an entire community was stolen along with it. The crime wasn't just an attack on one person, it was an assault on the town's very sense of security. When the news broke, it spread like a virus, first in whispers, then in panicked phone calls, and finally, through the stark headlines of the local news. A murder. Here. And it was on video. The initial shock quickly gave way to a deep, pervasive fear. Suddenly, neighbors looked at each other differently. Strangers were regarded with suspicion. The familiar streets and alleyways that once felt safe now seemed to hold a hidden menace. The knowledge that the killer had walked among them and could still be among them changed everything. The town was no longer the same place it had been the day before. That fear was amplified 1,000 times over when the police, desperate for a lead, released the footage to the public. They hoped a pair of fresh eyes would spot a crucial detail. Instead, it brought the horror directly into every living room. Families watched the chilling clip on their local news broadcast, their sense of safety evaporating with each repeated viewing. The grainy figure on the screen wasn't just an abstract monster anymore. It was a real threat that had breached their town's defenses. The video put a face, or rather a faceless silhouette, to their deepest fears. The town held its breath, waiting for an arrest that never came. A security camera is a simple machine. It has no feelings, no fear, no judgment. It is an unblinking eye, tasked with a single purpose: to record what happens in front of its lens. It doesn't know the difference between a customer buying milk and a killer taking a life. It just records, silently, faithfully. And in this case, that mechanical indifference is what makes the footage so profoundly disturbing. The camera watches the unthinkable unfold with the same detached calm as it watched the minutes and hours leading up to it. It is the perfect impartial witness, and yet its testimony is maddeningly incomplete. Think about the sheer chance of it all. The camera had to be there. It had to be pointed in just the right direction. It had to be working. So many things had to go right for this moment to be captured, for this glimpse of the killer to be preserved. It feels like a small miracle, a stroke of luck in the midst of a tragedy. Here, we think, is the proof. Here is the tool that will bring justice. The footage feels like a gift to the investigation, a clear path forward, but that initial sense of hope quickly sours, turning into a frustrating and an agonizing dead end. The problem is what the camera doesn't show. It doesn't show where the person came from. It doesn't show where they went. It doesn't capture a clear image of their face. It doesn't capture a clear image of their clothes. It doesn't capture any identifying marks. It gives us the most important moment, the commission of the crime itself, but it denies us the context we so desperately need to understand it. It's like being given a single page torn from the middle of a book. You have the climax, but you have no idea who the characters are or what led them to that point. The unblinking eye saw the what, but it offers no clues about the who or the why. And so, we're left with this paradox. We have more evidence than in many unsolved murders. We have a video of the crime happening, but we are also more frustrated. The footage dangles the solution right in front of our eyes, yet keeps it just out of reach. It is a constant reminder of how close we are to the truth, and yet how far away. That unblinking eye has become a symbol of the case itself, watching, waiting, and holding a secret it cannot or will not tell. The answers are locked behind its silent digital gaze, and for years, that is where they have remained.